So recently, some very disturbing and untrue allegations have come up against me, such as a 12-year-old, and just plenty of rubbish that I also want to talk about. Sorry, I'm very sick right now. I'm like forcing this out, but I just needed to talk about this. Recently, a lot of disturbing things have happened online where people are spreading lies and slander about my name, and it's really just it's so gross what people are saying that I've done, which is just completely untrue, twisted narratives, and just absolute rubbish, which is it's unacceptable, as it does drive my name into the dirt and discredits my entire brand, my channel, etc., etc. I also want to go over a few old situations involving my partner and just some other random stuff. I want to apologize that this video took so long. I had friends over for like a week straight and just couldn't record because they didn't know about my channel. I do plan to keep it that way, but yeah, that's the main reason why. And then I've also felt a bit sick recently, so I'm genuinely forcing this out. First thing I want to talk about is the false allegations from YouTuber Ghosty8295, where he said that I had a 12-year-old on the tits, which is known as ping, which is genuinely wrong, and physically I wouldn't be able to, if you know what I mean. Like, I wouldn't know where to touch it. Like, I'm not interested in that sort of stuff because it's not like something that I would want to do. If you like, it's really hard to explain, but I'm not really sexually attracted to much things besides my partner. And of course, this situation I want to talk about was actually semi-true, as I was in school at the time. I was walking through a corridor and I saw one of my friends at the time. And this friend was recently like telling someone called Tollis this story, which I'm not going to flame Tollis or anything. I've spoken to Tollis, so everything with Tollis is sorted. But the thing is, this person, Jane Doe, said to Tollis what had happened in this situation, and what had really happened was something completely different. And I know Jane Doe perfectly, like, I know Jane Doe IRL, and we are close friends. But I know their mental state may be a little low, so they are not always in the best mental state at times. But what I'd like to talk about is the entire incident as a whole. So this incident goes down as I walk through a corridor with my friends. I call out Jane Doe's name, and I get pushed by one of my friends. I go to land, like, obviously, if I'm trying to land, I want to land, like, so I don't hit my face on the floor or anything like that. What I am trying to do is stop myself from embarrassing myself, basically, in front of about 80 students. But unfortunately, when I shouted their name, got pushed, they turned around. Worst came to worse, my hands landed on their tits. And what I did to apologize was actually very, like, over the top, but it was still, to me, for my mental awareness, I thought it was like barely even enough. But I had immediately it was barely even a second, and I genuinely was so apologetic. I could be on my hands and knees, like, saying, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to." And then after that, the next day, I went up to them and said, "Do you want me to stay away from you?" And they did. They wanted me to stay away from them for their own, like, comfortability, I guess. So I did, and then I did the next day, and then the next year, and then for 3.5 years straight, I stayed away from this one person in my school, in my grade, right? Like, in my level of, like, learning. I stayed away from this person because I knew it was just going to be about moral respect, and also the fact that it wasn't even really my fault. It was my friend's fault, and I spoke to my friend at school. He did admit that it was his fault. Yeah. So, and he also apologized, and it's all been sorted in school. But then this was actually twisted into me at the age of 15 supposedly touching this 12-year-old in the tits, when really this supposed 12-year-old is my 15-year-old friend Jane Doe. And we were both 12 at the time. I had no clue what sex was at the time. I had no clue about any of that. And it was a genuine accident, and it's all been sorted, and the victim is genuinely my friend, and nothing, no bad blood, no nothing. We've all sorted it out at school, and in real life, as this was an in real life incident, obviously, still counts as an incident, let's say. But this person, this friend of mine, I had to stay away from them for 3.5 years. And when I realized what they said to Tollis, but they didn't know who Tollis was, to me, being what I thought at the time, a person who had harassed me for 4 months straight, which was a lie, and I'm taking accountability that that was a lie. So I am sorry, Tollis, to you, but genuinely, I'm so sorry to Tollis. I'm so sorry to Jane Doe if I even still upset you to this day. But I am taking accountability here. But it's it's a situation that has been sorted, and I hope you guys do understand what genuinely happened and the context behind it, because in Ghosty's video there was a lack of context, I feel, and obviously this is like the main part of this video. I've just been going on about this, right? But there are a few other things that I'd like to talk about. So if you don't mind, we'll get on to it. If you have questions, leave them in the comments below. I'd like to talk about a situation involving the individual known as Happy, and this individual I spoke about on my channel, and actually deleted the video and all the posts, just being completely rude and like not having full context of what happened on both sides of the story, as this Happy person had supposedly was the person who wrote the N-word, like hard R, a bunch of times in a Discord server. And this was while we were dating. That's why it concerned me so much. And I'm bringing this up because what was said was that they wanted to, quote unquote, like leave me or abandon me or something. Which obviously my online name is the Goofiest Goob, which is shortened down to Goob, which is I'm not going to go into it, but obviously they said, can I like find a way to abandon Goob or something like that? I can't fully remember, but I want to bring this up because I genuinely feel sorry for Happy as well, and the harassment I've faced because I removed them posts and decided to actually listen to your story, like both sides of the story. I got harassment from the other side and realized who the true victim was of this. And then I spoke to Happy about this, and he called me one night crying on call, saying that the police were at his like room, like wherever he was, at his house or whatever, and his housemates with him were the ones who actually wrote the hard R, and because it was online defamation, kind of, I'm not too sure, but he did report it to the police, and of course it was taken seriously, and those boys got arrested that night. But the sad story is Happy was actually a victim of domestic or I don't know if it counts as domestic abuse, but still abuse physically, as they would beat him if he didn't do this or say this or stuff like that. They would physically beat him, and I've heard it myself, and I know they would. All right, I've heard it myself. So any more of this harassment that we face is it's just stupid because it's already been cleared out of the way, whatnot. I don't want to go over this too much because it is still a sensitive topic to many. But next thing I'm going to talk about is a lot of people have been going around saying I'm a racist, pedophile, stuff like that, just trying to defame me and just being bad parties, I guess, when labels like that are going to be taken seriously in the actual real life world instead of just absolute nonsense all the time. And when lies and slander are going against my name, I'm obviously going to acknowledge it. I was streaming Schedule 1, but I'm way too immersed or something. Or where it was a stream on my channel, and in the chat, some random viewer joined and said that he saw me kick a dog in real life. Then again, I don't go outside that much. I'll be real with every single person in the audience. I don't go outside that much because I just don't. It's not my sort of thing. I'm not too bothered about the outside world. I'm not too bothered about politics. I'm not gonna get anything. I'm not gonna earn anything from it. Am I? Like, I'm just there. And if I'm sad there by myself, just chilling, then I won't be able to bother anyone. That's my mentality. I just don't like to piss people off. And when lies and slander are against my name, I'm obviously not going to let him just be there. Otherwise, people will run with it and think, "Oh, he's not saying anything because it's true." Well, it's not. It's definitely not. I'm not a pedophile. I'm 15 myself. If anything, I could be a victim. I'm not a victim. Don't worry. But genuinely, I could be the victim, not have victims. I guess you could say, which is just it's absolutely ridiculous that people are saying this about my name. And honestly, I I've had to first take a. I was thinking of about a 3 day break, and then I had a friends come over for a week, so that's why the latest video was over around 10 days ago, I'd say. Some brighter news though, I will be making more videos like this. I've tried to keep my community tab as up to date as possible, but it is really hard with people constantly in my room and having friends always on my PC. I had to hide. So not anything illegal or anything, and if the police came and searched my computer, they wouldn't find anything illegal whatsoever because there is nothing. I wouldn't even know how to gain access to any sort of. I genuinely don't know how to gain access to any sort of material because I'm not actually. I don't want to be involved with that because I know it's bad because I've been brought up in an actual decent, respectful home that isn't full of criminals and whatnot. Because it's not normal. It's like I wouldn't say not normal, but in my family at least, it's not normal to be like a criminal, let's say, or someone that does bad or ruins the family name or whatnot. But still, I'd like to thank everyone for watching. Please do like and subscribe for more. Peace. I also want to clarify this video is not intended for hate, harassment, and I'm not calling anyone out at all, whatsoever. And I have a message to a certain someone who knows who they are. I'm not calling you out, and this is just me bringing up the same situation and just debunking lies, I guess. I don't know. But please do remember, like and subscribe for more. And go check these videos out.